Welcome to this week's edition of BHC Today. I shared a story a couple of weeks ago that someone asked me to repeat. I'll repeat the story, but add something on that you may not have heard before. The story goes like this. Until Herb Gooley stepped out of his third floor dormitory window, he was just an ordinary guy. But I'm getting ahead of my story. You see, Herb Gooley was a freshman at my college. I met him the first week of school down at Pete's place when I saw him trip over his own feet, spill his food on the floor, get up with mustard all over his shirt. Well, he was a freshman, of course. I was a sophomore at the time. I felt sorry for him, introduced myself, and said, "Welcome to campus." Well, he earned the reputation of the campus klutz, tripping down the hallways and dropping his books and always getting into mischief because of his clumsiness. I didn't hear of Herb again until the spring semester when I was downtown, and I saw a commotion over at Hinton's department store. And a large group of people saw something, and I ran over to see what had happened, and there he was. Herb Gooley had driven his station wagon right through the plate glass window into the toy department. And there was Gooley with his hands over his eyes saying, "Oh, why does all of this happen to me?" The crowd dispersed with the chants, "Gooley strikes again! Gooley strikes again!" Well, perhaps it was losing his driving privileges that suddenly got him interested into flying. Whatever the reason, he comes back his sophomore year knowing how to fly. How to fly, mind you, not fly an airplane, but how to fly. His roommate Jerry told us about it at school. He said, "Last night we were studying late at night and Gooley puts down his books and said, 'Jerry, I'm going to take a break. Going down to Pete's place to get them all.' I said, 'Too late, Gooley. It's 11:45 and Pete's place closes at midnight.' 'No worries,' he said. 'I'll fly down there.' He walks over to the window and steps out the window and disappears. Jerry panics and runs down the hall. 'Help, help! Gooley's jumped out the window. Gooley's jumped out the window.' When they got to the bottom, Gooley was nowhere to be found. When he's retelling the story up in their room about 15 minutes later, in comes Gooley flying through the window. They stare at him in disbelief. He says, 'Sure, I can fly. Watch and see.' And out the window he goes and comes back again. Well, the next day, nobody believed it. Nobody asked how or why, and Gooley wasn't telling. The administrators were baffled. They didn't know what to do. The library books disappeared as everyone went to buy all the books on flight and aviation. They brought in an expert speaker from NASA who was an expert in flight. He gave a series of lectures called Flight Emphasis Week. The auditorium was packed with people, but only one problem. They didn't know how to fly. Gooley had to know we were interested, but we never asked, and Gooley never told. I often wonder what happened to Herb Gooley. You see, he transferred that spring to another school where they say, everybody knows how to fly. My friends, I want you to know if you're a follower of Christ, you know how to fly. And although people won't ask, they're dying to know your secret. You've got the secret. You've got the wings. You've got the Holy Spirit of Jesus living in you. And that's the engine and the fuel that helps you fly. Oh, they may not ask you, but you need to tell them. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody knows how to fly? And how this story relates to you and me is this. We have the ability to fly. It reminds me of another story called the eagle who was orphaned at birth and fell to the ground, and a farmer found him and thought he was a chicken. He put the eagle in his chicken's pen and was raised by chickens. This eagle spent his entire life as a chicken. One day, all grown up, he looks up and he sees an eagle soaring in the sky. He asked the mother chicken, "What is that?" She said, "Oh, that's the king of the birds. That's the eagle. But don't worry about that. He belongs up there and we belong down here. We know our place. We would never, ever know how to fly." But something inside him wouldn't be satisfied with that. He said, "I know it's inside me. I know I can do it." And one day, all by himself, he goes off to the cliff. It was the biggest jump he ever made. He jumped off the cliff and he flew. He flew, he flew, he flew. He knew who he was. He was an eagle, not destined to the ground, but to fly in the skies. Friends, let me tell you this. You've got Jesus Christ in your life. The Holy Spirit is your fuel and your wings. Don't settle to be a chicken. Soar As the prophet Isaiah says, those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings and fly like eagles. Friends, don't be a chicken. Spread your wings and soar and let people know that you fly because of Jesus Christ. And that, my friends, is an encouraging word.